Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. We've got a lot to go over. It's been about 3 weeks since we talked to you last time. So we've got 3 weeks of news. We've got a trip that we just got back from about a week ago. So yeah, we got a ton of stuff going on. So definitely hang with us. We are going to have a good show. So I'll see you guys back here in about 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. This might be our last week without Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. They've got golf finishing up state tournament play this week, so should have him back next week and back to kind of our normal format shows where we've got the news, we've got the DPI top 3, and then we'll either have our Lorcana segment or we will have a Disney deep dive, which we're going to get back into those this summer as well. So lots to look forward to on the channel. Not only that, we did just get back from a trip to Walt Disney World, and we got new footage for Happily Ever After. We got new footage on Luminous. So those videos are getting put together right now. Happily Ever After will be up on Friday. Luminous will be up next Wednesday. And then I'm working on Fantasmic as well. And then we'll see how the quality is on the new Finding Dory show over at Animal Kingdom. And we may have that up as well on the channel in the near future as well. So lots going on. Let's talk a little bit about the trip. So we did go down to Walt Disney World last week. So we were down there for about 8 days. And really fun trip. We paced it a little bit differently this time. So, you know, when we talk about different ways to enjoy your trip, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And in this trip, we did it through enjoying some time at our resort. So we stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. It was our first time there. Really good resort to relax at. It is relatively spread out, and it has got some good visual appeal to it. We'll put it that way. Really nice pool with a slide, and it basically, how it's set up is you've got your main building, and then you've got an island that you go out to. It's Old Man Island, and it's got a lot of the different activities and that kind of stuff on it. So there was fishing, there were Surrey boats, or Surrey bikes, there was a horse-drawn carriage. So a lot of things you could do at the resort. And then you went over another set of bridges, and that's where kind of all of the rooms were set up. And you had Alligator Alley, and then you had the mansions were the 2 segments to Port Orleans Riverside. And then you went past the mansions, and you got into Port Orleans French Quarter. And it was just a different feel with a different resort, even though they were connected and they had a bus system that worked between the 2 of them and that kind of stuff as well. So really nice. We stayed in Alligator Alley. My father-in-law and his wife stayed over in the mansions. They were only about a building away from us. It wasn't too bad. But really nice stay. Bus system was really good, so there are 4 stops within the resort. So if you've stayed at a moderate before, you understand kind of that philosophy We were the second bus stop, so we really didn't run into any times where the buses were full when they got to us, other than right at Park Open. And those buses would just drive right on by. They wouldn't even stop. It wasn't even worth it. But what they do for Port Orleans is really nice. So I was talking to one of the bus drivers on one of our off days, and he said at Park Open they have 4 buses that are dedicated to Port Orleans Riverside, and they have 1 bus that is dedicated just to the main lobby bus stop at Port Orleans at open and at close. So basically they have 5 buses running to this resort for the first couple of hours at Park Open, and then at Park Close as well. So it is relatively well served. It is about a 40-minute round trip if you were to go to the park and back. 40-minute round trip to most of the parks from Port Orleans on the bus system. So no other transportation there. They do have transportation to Disney Springs, but it was not working. It is a boat system, and it was not working because they haven't got a lot of rain down there, and it's been really hot. So the water levels were really, really low, and they couldn't run the boat taxis to and from Disney Springs. So we didn't get to enjoy that, but they did have buses running periodically. We'll get into that a little bit with Peter probably next week when we talk a little bit more about the high spots and the low spots of the trip. Pacing, we did do it a little bit differently this time. When we got there, we had an off day. Then we did 2 parks, had an off day, 2 parks, and then we flew out really late the last day, and that was an off day as well. So lots of time to swim, lots of time to explore, lots of time. We went to the Polynesian and basically spent 3/4 of a day at the Polynesian one day. Did Ohana, did Trader Sam's, did pictures out on the beach, and just made a day of it. So a lot of different things you can do, and we did do a lot of new things. So we did the Fantasia Gardens putt-putt course for the first time. We watched the O Canada show for the first time. We watched the Finding Nemo show, the new iteration of that for the first time. The kids rode Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time. So a lot of cool new things. Also, Trader Sam's was a first for some of the members of our group. Skipper Canteen was a first for members of our group. We did dinner at Steakhouse 71, which was the first time that we had done that. So, all in all, really, really good trip. And like I said, with Peter coming back on pretty full time starting next week, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of some of the things that worked, some of the things that didn't, and what we're doing next. I mean, we've already got our next trip booked, so we're ready to go. Lots of news this week. Let's jump into the news for a little bit. Want to talk about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Want to talk about Communicore. Want to talk about a bunch of the things that are going on around the parks. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the news. And like I said, with 3 weeks of news, there is a ton going on. We're going to start with Tiana's Bayou Adventure just because, man, it's having issues. They're really trying to downplay the issues that it's having, but it's having a ton of issues right now. And the main thing is just uptime. Now here recently it hasn't been as bad, but when it first started, cast member previews, the longest continuous runtime that it had was about 3 hours. Well, a normal day at Disney starts at about 8:30 a.m. and will go till about 11:30, maybe midnight, depending on how many people are in line at the end of the day. So that ride needs to be running for about, 15 hours, and it's getting a continuous runtime right now of about 3 hours. So yesterday and today, they've been doing some media events and that kind of stuff. Seems to have better runtime, but they're not running it near as often right now. So we'll kind of see as it moves into pass holder previews that are starting up. We'll see how the runtime is and what's going on with it. If you do want to see a full ride video, Disney kind of beat all the bloggers to it and just posted a ride video before cast previews even started and said, ha, we got it out. Everything else is just second best now. So it is out, and you can go over to their YouTube page and you can check it out. Let's see, how long has it been since I've actually been on here? So that's the week of. Fantasmic is back at Disneyland to everybody's celebration. They did change the dragon part now, and Maleficent just kind of grows in that area. And there are some new scenes on the boats and that kind of stuff. So if you haven't seen Fantasmic in a while over at Disneyland, definitely go and check that out. Running nightly right now. Disney Dreams That Soar has opened at Disney Springs at Walt Disney World. It is the drone show by Dronezios. We watched it one of the nights that we were there. It is good. It is not of the complexity of, say, the electrical sky parade that they're doing at Paris right now. It very much feels like this is a test run. And we know it's a test run. We've already gotten confirmation from Dronezios that this is a test for something bigger that's going somewhere else. They aren't coming out and saying it, but I will. It's going to be Animal Kingdom. They're looking to put something at night in Animal Kingdom so that they can extend those hours so that we can have darkness in Pandora again, and we can have a night show in that beautiful theater that they have where Rivers of Light was at one point, and Kite Tales, if you want to count Kite Tales as anything that was more than just a joke. Talking Doug is roaming around Animal Kingdom as well. Talking Doug and Kevin are fantastic over at Animal Kingdom. We had some time with Kevin, and that was absolutely, it was awesome. He was playing peekaboo with a kid in a stroller. It was a ton of fun. We have permits for Animal Kingdom as well. Nothing groundbreaking, but very telling of what's coming. They have filed the permits for the trailer encampment. So this is where they're going to have all of their planning meetings. This is where they're going to have all their supplies, all this kind of stuff. And they have filed the permits for that to be over at Animal Kingdom. So what does that mean? That means that there is a large-scale construction project coming to Animal Kingdom. We already know that they are talking about the Equatorial Americas at Animal Kingdom. And basically, Damaro came out and said, yeah, we're going to say something big about Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom at D23. Well, no duh. You said it last year. Everybody's on it. You're filing permits. We're getting all the paperwork. You know what's going to happen. We know that the project is going to happen at Animal Kingdom. It's just how much do you dumb it down? You know, and that's what going to bring me into Communicore, because Communicore opened at Epcot yesterday, and we were able to walk around it last week, and from the outside, 3 sides of it look really, really nice. It's got kind of a nano leaf look if you're into like streaming and that kind of stuff, but like gamer RGB lights, and I think somebody on Twitter actually came out and said that. But it does have a cool effect, and it works with Spaceship Earth and the lighting package that's on Spaceship Earth as well. So it's really nice. Now let's talk about the downsides. The inside area that's supposed to be the big breezeway looks like a dumbed down wedding venue waiting for somebody to decorate it. Just doesn't look good. It's got a lighting package. It just doesn't look good. We'll see what it looks like when, say, Food and Wine gets in there, and They've got it decked out for food and wine, but right now it looks like an unused space that they threw some tables and chairs in and said, "Oh, look, shade." The Mickey and Friends meet and greet is great. It's air conditioned. The backdrop's awesome. You have to wait outside. The Encanto show, it's cool. They've got this great stage. Once the show starts firing up, there's no shade on the spectator area. In a park that really can use areas that have air conditioning and shade, they really missed the boat. And if you remember what was there, it was a big breezeway that was shaded. It was a huge hall, 2 huge halls for the character meet and greets, because you had Mickey and Friends on one side, and then you had rotating characters on the other side, and the lines were in the air conditioning. And only when they got super long were you waiting out in the breezeway, but you still weren't in the sun. So, poor planning, and it's a continuation of Disney. I don't want to say errors, I want to say missteps. Because the vice president of Epcot comes out and says, "Oh, the transformation of Epcot is done. There's no play pavilion. They didn't do the upgrades to Spaceship Earth. There's no Cherry Tree Lane." And everybody's going to say, well, a pandemic happened. It happened over in Universal too, and look what they're getting. I think you've got to not keep making excuses for what we're seeing happen to the Disney parks. The last really good thing that happened at World was Guardians. We'll see what happens with the Equatorial Americas. We've got an opening date for Country Bears now. July 17th, we're getting the revamped Country Bears. And with the revamped Country Bears, we are also going to get some pieces and parts from Splash Mountain animatronics. So for the bears to be able to do some of the new movements that they are doing, they have repurposed some of the pieces and parts from Splash Mountain animatronics into the Country Bears to make that happen. So I'm interested to see how that looks the next time we are down there. Disney also released some looks at the new theatrical Little Mermaid show that is going back into Hollywood Studios over in that animation courtyard, that big corner building that just has been unused since the pandemic. So they are going to have an animated Ursula, a live action Ursula. It's going to be a big update to that show. So really excited to see when we have an opening date for that. Also, we got the first real look at Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. And really lots of positives coming back from that media event, except for the fact that it's about a half-mile walk down the pier from the boat to even get to the island. They really wanted to use the docking pier as a natural barrier for the island to protect it from some of the sea movement. And it is about a half-mile long. Brooke Geiger McDonald said it took about 13 minutes at a pretty nice walk with kids. And then once you got to the island, it's about a 15-minute tram ride to the main beach, with trams running continuously throughout the day. So you think about it, once you get off the boat, which is kind of a task in itself, you've got about a half hour before you're even going to get to your sun chair and get set up at the beach. So just be aware that with the new island. Now, one thing that I will say is when we were at Castaway Cay, it took a little while to get to the main beach there as well. The walk from the pier didn't feel like a half mile, but it was still a considerable walk. And then we walked over to the first or the second beach from there. So there's one beach, and then there's the food area, and then there's a second beach. We walked all the way to the second beach and hung out there. So, but it is open now, and the Magic is going to be the boat that is going back and forth to Lighthouse Point, not the Wish. The Wish through early summer next year, unless you're getting one of the two island, the two Disney Island packages. It is going to Castaway Cay and not Lighthouse Point. So that's really the news. There's a few other little things going on. Disneyland passes have been paused. Paris has released plans for Bastille Day. We're getting a first look inside the rooms at the tower, the island tower at the Polynesian. A lot of things like that. Go over to Twitter at Disney Insights. You can check out a lot of things that we've reposted from our friends down in the Orlando area. Also, Roosevelt's. You're going to see a lot of Roosevelt shirts on me on the show here for the foreseeable future. Fantastic shirts at the park, but they released a Lion King collection for the 30th anniversary. This was at the end of last month. The Roosevelt shirts do tend to sell out relatively quick in some of the patterns, so definitely want to go over there. So at RSVLTS, all capitals, if you want to check those out and take a look at what they are offering. But they do have a ton of cool Disney prints. This is the summer swipes. I've got the Tulips shirt. I've got the Pastel Pals Disney 100 shirt now. And I've got the comic characters Disney 100 shirt as well. So, yeah, so you'll see a lot of those. And I've got the hoodie that you've seen on the show before. So, yeah, just a lot of fun. On the Lorcana side, we'll finish up the news with that. I don't even see a timer here, which is cool. Is there a timer up there? No. Okay. On the Lorcana side, oh, there it is. The Chicago event was over the weekend. Really cool event. First event that allowed Set 4, Ursula's Return in it. And an Emerald Steel deck won the event over an Emerald Amethyst deck. You can check out the final match on YouTube. A lot of the Lorcana heavy channels have carried it, and it was a really good match. Really well matched opponents and really well matched decks. A lot of cards that carried over and that kind of stuff. So definitely a good event. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the other events across the as we still have the Dallas event and the Las Vegas event. I think there's a Seattle event, Cali event. And that's the news. I think I got to most everything, which is that was a lot of talking. So let's go ahead and get back to just there we go. Talk a little bit more about the trip. So like I said, we took an 8-day trip to Walt Disney World. Got back last Wednesday night. And really the way that we had planned the trip was to slow down the pacing a little bit. Normally when we take trips, we'll fly in either the morning of or the night before our first park day. Really just go pound out park, and then fly out the next day or late the last park day, like do a half day at Animal Kingdom or something like that and fly out that day. But for this trip, we did want to take and slow down the pacing because we did have my father-in-law and his wife with us. So just slow it down a little bit, make it a little bit more enjoyable for them. They weren't really wanting to go the whole trip. So we added in some days to, I say relax. We didn't do a lot of relaxing because we still did a lot on those days, but it gave us some time to kind of slow down everything else. So flew in on Wednesday night. Yeah, we flew in on Wednesday night, and Thursday we didn't have a park. We had planned on going and doing putt-putt, so we ate breakfast at the resort. Got over to the putt-putt course. We went to Fantasia Gardens and got there when it opened. Played Fantasia Gardens. We were like the 5th group or something through. Played Fantasia Gardens. We'll have some snippets from that over on the YouTube channel and over on Facebook, because that was a ton of fun. We had a lot of fun playing over on that course. And then that's where the other... I was like, hold on. I felt like I was missing a day of footage. And I was, because I took about the whole card worth of footage at... Okay, that makes sense. I just had a light bulb go off on one of my devices. I took a ton of footage and changed the cards out of the device so that I could get more footage on it. So we played Fantasia Gardens. The kids and the girls went back to the resort, got ready to go to the pool. My father-in-law and we played the Fantasia Fairways course as well. It's my second time playing the Fantasia Fairways course. If you are a fan of golf, like to play, Fantasia Fairways is a fantastic putt-putt course. Offers a little bit of a challenge, plays at a par 72. And there are par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s on the putt-putt course. And you are really trying to play it more like a real round of golf instead of just trying to get the ball through the clown's mouth sometimes. So we stayed and we did that. Went back to the resort. We got in the pool for a little while and then got ready for dinner that night. We went to Steakhouse 71. Steakhouse 71, fantastic. I would highly recommend Steakhouse 71 to anyone that's looking for a good steak meal or a good meal in general. I think consensus across the board was the meal was really good. I know one person in our party got the pork chops, and then the rest of us got different cuts of steaks, and yeah, they were all really good. Had dessert there, had the chocolate cake there. That was fantastic as well. So definitely highly recommend that. Now the menu that we had is a dinner only menu, so make sure that you are getting it for dinner. That's one thing that we really, when we initially booked it, we booked it as a lunch, like a really late lunch. And then we were like, no, we want to actually get the meal. So we decided to wait around and definitely get the steak dinner. And it was worth it. It was very well worth getting the steak dinner and doing that meal. The next morning we did Animal Kingdom, Tusker House. So we did got there right around early entry hours. Did Tusker House for breakfast late, a late breakfast. So we did it right as they were turning over for lunch, so that we could do Kilimanjaro safaris first thing in the morning. We were able to do Kilimanjaro safaris. We were able to go ride Everest. And then we were still able to get back in time to for our breakfast, which we actually had a lot more time there. We just kind of hung out at Dawa Bar for a little while, waiting on breakfast. Uh, did both shows. Lion King show has been back for a while. Celebration of Festival of the Lion King is gone now. It is back to Festival of the Lion King. Yay. Tumble Monkeys are back, so it is the full show again. We went over and did the new Finding Nemo show. It was okay to good. There were parts and pieces that were really, really good. There were parts and pieces that are like, yeah, this is kind of cringy. So, for kids, I think kids really would enjoy it, especially younger kids. I like the other show better. So, just kind of my thoughts. We rode Dinosaur, probably for the final time. We wanted to make sure that we got that in, knowing that Dinosaur is probably going away here in the next year. So we made sure to get that in. We also met with Moana down in the new meet and greet area. That is themed really well. And it's a really good meet and greet. I liked it when it was Pocahontas and Miko. Moana's a good fit down there as well. So we saw Kevin out in the causeway. We did some dancing with the show that goes on, that the high energy show that's right across from Flame Tree Barbecue. Went into Pandora, did Avatar, we did Flight of Passage, we did the River Rapids ride. We wanted to get back to Rafiki's Planet Watch. We just didn't have time to do it. And that's one thing I continue to see and continue to try and educate clients on. We had a good plan every day. We didn't get to everything that we had planned to do every day. We did a lot. I mean, we did a ton every day. And we really didn't vary out of our plan any of the days. But it just takes time to do things sometimes. And for us, there were just things we just didn't get to, which was fine. But it's just something you've got to be aware of when you go to the parks, is you're not going to get to everything. We've now been a lot. I mean, we're over 15 times now. There are still things we haven't done. So that was Friday. Saturday, we did Hollywood Studios. We rope drop, which we missed rope drop. Well, we went to Cape May Cafe first. And then we took the friendship boat from Cape May Cafe to Hollywood Studios. Great way to do it if you are eating at one of those boardwalk area restaurants. Took the boat over to Hollywood Studios, got online, and we walk in the park, and there's a huge stage in front of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which was awesome because it kind of funneled guests around it. And we rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway the first time with basically no wait. We were going to ride it again, but people started getting wise to it. It was posted a 25-minute wait the first time. We didn't wait more than 10 minutes. The second time it was posted at a 45-minute wait, and they were starting to get lined up outside in that outdoor queue. So we decided not to do it a second time, which was fine. We ran over and did some of the Star Wars meet and greets. We did the Indiana Jones stunt show. We did Star Tours. We did a whole afternoon in Batuu. So we had done an individual lightning lane for Rise that was kind of around our Oga's reservation, and did everything in Batuu all together. We ate at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. There's a picture over on the Facebook page, so if you are, if you follow our Facebook page, just at DPI Podcast over on Facebook, I posted a picture while we were there of our table of food. So we had 6 people at the table. you can see our plates, you can see our drinks, and the rest of the table space is filled with family style food. It was insane the amount of food that they brought out for the six of us. It is a family style meal, and then at dessert, you just tell them, "Hey, I want one of all the little pie shooter things," and they'll bring you out whatever you want for the little pie shooter things. I had the chocolate silk pie and the lemon blueberry cheesecake one. Everything there, it's barbecued meat without the sauce on it. So if you aren't a fan of barbecue sauce, you can just have, the pulled brisket, or the brisket, and the chicken and the ribs and all that kind of stuff, and it has no sauce on it. There's 3 sauces at the table. There's a sweet, there's a traditional, and there's a spicy. The spicy isn't super spicy. It was about a mild at best barbecue sauce. Enough flavor to give flavor to the meat, but not much else. But no, the meat by itself, fantastic. The brisket was unbelievable. And then, like I said, good drinks, good desserts. We had a couple of the drinks on the menu, good desserts. So definitely a place that's worth going back to. It's a ton of food, though, an absolute ton of food. So if you want to save a meal, definitely a meal that you could do a late lunch at, and it's going to kind of keep you going through the end of the day. Maybe with a quick snack or something, getting you ready for Fantasmic. So yeah, we did Fantasmic. Haven't seen Fantasmic. Well, no, I take that back. We have seen Fantasmic since it came back with the new features. The kids and the parents hadn't seen the new stuff on it yet, so it was cool to see their reactions to the new stuff with, the Moana section and the Frozen section and that kind of stuff. So, no, that was a lot of fun as well. Took an off day on Sunday. That was our Poly day. We went over. We did Ohana for breakfast. We got our name in at Trader Sam's. We did some pictures on the beach. Go over to the Facebook page. You can check out some of the pictures that we took on the beach. Some of the things that we did around the Polynesian that day. Really, really nice to kind of just veg that day. Now, Animal Kingdom Day, we were going to try and get over to Disney Springs and watch the drone show. Made a reservation at the Edison. Had some problems with the bus getting over to Disney Springs. Said in the opening that the water taxis weren't working. They had buses. They were not running really fast at all. So we missed our reservation at the Edison. We made a new one. We got there, told them what went on. They got us right in. It wasn't super busy yet. It got really busy once we got there, but it wasn't super busy yet, so we were able to get in. As we're sitting there and eating, we figured, hey, we're going to miss the first drone show. We were kind of tired. We'd been at a park all day. We weren't going to stay for the second drone show. We got the push notification that the drone show was canceled because of the high winds. And this is something that I think Dreams That Soar is going to deal with, because a lot of the nights that we were there, the winds were up. And that was one thing that hurt the drones when we were over in Paris as well, is those high winds, they move the drones around. And when we get the Dreams That Soar video posted, you'll see that it wasn't really windy, but they lost at least 3 drones out of the show that we were there at. They just fall into the water, and then at the end of the show, they just go pick them up. Once it's done, it was kind of cool to see. But no, we got there. So Sunday, we go over to Disney Springs, get some ice cream. We got there around the time that the first show was going on, and went to Salt and Straw, got some ice cream, and sat down just as the first show was kind of letting out, so the crowds were kind of chaos. As everything kind of died down, we got in line. So if you walk all the way down towards the Cirque du Soleil building, they have a queue line there to go against the water on that walkway down against the lake. So that kind of that retention pond between Disney Springs and Saratoga Springs. So we got there, we got set up. I got the camera stuff up. We watched the show there. It's a drone show. It's not much more than that. They've got some spotlights. They've got good music. It's got a good original song. You can tell it's trying to get ready for something else. It's just a lot of like single characters, maybe a couple of small characters in one scene. But like I said, it is nothing like the Electric Light Parade that they're doing in Paris right now. Same company, very, very different shows, very, very different feels of shows. It's not like Power of the Night, the Avengers show that they had there either. It just a lot different. So we do that on Sunday. Monday we go to Magic Kingdom, get our Tron. Got a super early Tron, so we were able to do like Gaston's cinnamon rolls. We did Starbucks, ate our breakfast, kind of did all of our like bathroom and sunscreen and all that kind of stuff, and went over to Tron, rode Tron, and then kind of did like the stuff over there in Tomorrowland. So the girls went and did Space Mountain. We did People Mover. We did, Tomorrowland Speedway, that kind of stuff. Get over to do Carousel Progress. It shut down. I don't think it reopened most of the day. Something happened. It wasn't feeling good. So, didn't get to do Carousel Progress. Started working our way around the park. Doing some of the classic things, we did Pirates, we did Big Thunder Mountain, we did Small World, we did Haunted Mansion, we did the Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell, if you haven't done the Liberty Bell, do the Liberty Bell here in the next year or so, because all the rumors are pointing to they're going to have to truncate that path that it takes somehow. And it may not be an attraction for much longer. We'll see how they have to modify that for Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. If that's what ends up being over there, is the Beyond Big Thunder Mountain project. But did that stuff. We did do something new this trip. We waited until after Happily Ever After to the fireworks show. If you aren't that familiar with Disney parks, we waited until after Happily Ever After to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It worked out really well. They had a posted wait time of 65 minutes. There was no way it was 65 minutes. It was 30 at most. I think they were just trying to keep people out of the line before the park closed. And it kind of filled up a little bit it was a little bit longer when we got out than when we got in. We had about 10 minutes before park closed, able to get some ice cream sundaes from the Friar's Nook. Walked out the front of the castle at park close with ice cream. Can't beat that. Last park day was Tuesday. Tuesday, we went to Epcot. Another day, we haven't come in the front of the park in years. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time that we came in the front of the park and we weren't coming from Magic Kingdom. So it was just a weird feeling to bring a bus into Epcot and come in the front of the park. It was a do your own breakfast, so we had breakfast at the hotel. Rope drop, did Soarin', did Living with the Land, went over, did the Seas, met up with a couple of family members that had driven down from the villages, did Journey of Water, Figment, Canada Far and Wide, and we went back and we had Tepanito for lunch. Tepanito for lunch was awesome. We always have a good time there. For everybody that kind of poo-poos on us for Tepanito, Tepanito's awesome. Went up to do, we had got the virtual queue for Guardians, went up and did our virtual queue for Guardians after lunch. Rode that, and then we had a Space 220 lounge reservation. Little hint on Space 220 lounge. It is really hard with larger parties. I mean, even fours, it's really hard to get a Space 220 lounge reservation. Break it up into twos. We were able to do back to back two top reservations, and then the two family members that came in and kind of surprised us at Epcot were able to get a walk-in bar time. So we ended up being able to sit 4 at a table, 2 at a table next to us, and then 2 at the bar right next to them. So, you know, if you're really wanting to do Space 220, you're just going up there for drinks, light snacks, that kind of stuff, doing something off of the lounge menu, look at getting back-to-back reservations of 2 tops. Sometimes they can accommodate a 4, sometimes they can't at the same table, but they're usually relatively close to one another. And if you have a kid and an adult at each table, you know, maybe you just want to have that, you know, the guy's time or the girl's time or whatever, for that drink and that snack, which is a lot of fun. So did that, did Spaceship Earth. Then we had a Beaches and Cream, I say dinner. We did a kitchen sink, and that was a challenge even with 6 of us. And then we did Ratatouille when we got back into the park, and kind of got set up for the fireworks. I got set up for Luminous kind of right after Ratatouille. The rest of the party went looking for air conditioning, and then watched Luminous, and walked up to the front of the park, got on the bus, went back to the hotel. Last day we did at Disney Springs, which is kind of a common thing for us to do the last day at Disney Springs, do some of our shopping, that kind of stuff. Gives the kids the ability to kind of go through the parks, figure out what they want to get. You know, if we can get it at the parks, and that seems like it's going to be the only place we can get it, we let them get it then. But, you know, if we go to Disney Springs at the end, we can always hit World of Disney, and they'll have a lot of the same things that they have within the parks. And they can make their final decisions on that last day. Also gives us an idea on what we're looking at space-wise in the bags, so we don't make the D23 mistake and have to buy a suitcase for the trip home. So that was basically our trip. We flew out. We had an 8:55 flight out of Orlando on Wednesday night. Got back to the house about 1 a.m. All in all, fantastic trip. Wouldn't change a whole lot. We did a lot of new things. A lot of new things for very different people in the party too. So just a really good trip. And that's why I like helping other people plan as well, because I love to kind of get their ideas on what they want to do and try and make it to where they can do everything that they want to do with realistic goals in mind. I hate, you know, listening to people saying, "Oh, we're going to go down there and we're going to do everything at all 4 parks, and we're going to." You're not. I'm sorry, you're just not. Even with Genie Plus, you're not. Even if you spend all the money on individual lightning lanes, you're not. You know, if you're going to spend $4,000 a day and do VIP tours every day, maybe. But you're going to be beat and broke by the time you leave. So yeah, but no. Like I said, once we get Peter back starting next week, we'll talk a little bit more on the planning side, and really get back into, like I said, the top threes and the deep dives and the Lorcana segments and that kind of stuff again. So long show today, but thank you guys all for watching, liking, listening, sharing, everything that you guys do. I'm going to go ahead and get into the outro, and you guys have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay cool, stay warm wherever you're at. Bye now. Nobody is a guest. I was the only one that talked today, and it shows. So Peter's going to be back next week, we hope. So we'll see you guys then. On the internet, you're really not trying, because we are everywhere. Over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel site. Over on Twitter, it's at Disney Insights. Instagram at Princesses and the Mouse. YouTube, Disney Planning Insights Podcast. Find us. Thank you guys all for liking, sharing, watching, and everything else that you guys do. Listening. Have a good week.